Top on the news, dead and retired judges make a list of members of election tribunal. Code of Conduct Tribunal adjourns hearing of suspended Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onnoghen. Also in a news bulletin, Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) accredits observer groups for 2019 elections. A wonderful evening and welcome to Living TV News. My name is Ozimo Smart. Now the news in full. Barely a week after swearing into office, the new acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Tanko Muhammad, has sworn in 250 members of the Election Tribunal at the Supreme Court, out of which 10 are dead and retired judges. Details from our studios. There are already insinuations and reports making the rounds that 10 out of the 250 newly sworn-in members of the tribunal are dead and retired judges. A group of concerned lawyers from Uyo who declined identification faulted the list of the recently sworn-in tribunal members, saying it is parading over 10 names and dead retired judges. They admit that this would not be the first time the President Muhammadu Buhari-led government is displaying this level of clueless and careless handling of sensitive issues concerning Nigeria. They, however, described the posthumous appointment of anyone for such sensitive role in the country as burying Nigeria alive. The judges named Justice Edemekong, whose name appeared on the list, has been late since 2013. Another Justice Chukwu, who was formerly of the Federal High Court, has also been long dead. The lawyer's revelation also indicates that Justice Stephen Okon, a retired Chief Judge of Akwa Ibom, and Justice Okoyo Esang, a retired Justice of the High Court in Akwa Ibom, both made the list, while a late judge, Justice Ubiri, was also appointed. The lawyers expressed concerns that if such errors could be spotted at a glance on such sensitive lists on the first outing of the new acting CJN, then Nigeria may be heading towards doom. Few weeks to the 2019 general elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has accredited 144 observer groups to monitor the conduct of the electoral process. Details in a moment.
The figure, which was posted on the Commission's website, comprises of 16 domestic and 28 international observer groups. The Commission advised all the accredited observers to abide by its code of conduct for election observers. The Commission also says it reserves the right to cancel and withdraw the accreditation of any organization if the members or agents breach the code of conduct, while advising accredited groups to obtain and complete Form EC 14A2 from its elections and party monitoring department at its headquarters in Abuja. INEC, however, warns that it will hand over to law enforcement agencies any group other than those accredited found in any state for the election. They also warn that accredited field observers found in states other than where they are posted will equally be sanctioned. The accredited foreign groups are African Bar Association, African Parliament for the Civil Society, African Union, British High Commission, Democratic Union of Africa, ECOWAS, Election Cameroon, ELCAM, Republic of Cameroon, and the Electoral Institute for Sustainable Democracy in Africa. Other accredited foreign observers are Embassy of France, Embassy of Japan, Embassy of the Arab Republic of Egypt, Embassy of the Republic of Korea, European Union for Electoral Support, European Union, German International Agency, High Commission of Canada, and the International Foundation for Electoral System, the International Human Rights Commission, International Peace Commission, International Republic Institute, the Network for Solidarity and Empowerment and Transformation are among those who made the list. Last seat on the international observers are Nigerians in Diaspora Organization, Pan-African Women Project, Pan-African Youth Training and Enlightenment Center, the Commonwealth, and the United States Embassy. On the domestic scene, Action Aid Nigeria, Advocacy for Quality Leadership and Health Awareness, Foundation African Center for Leadership, Strategy and Development, African Christian Care Trust Organization, Transition Monitoring Group are some of the observer groups accredited.
And the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has denied the claims that the federal government has paid them a huge sum of 463 billion naira as part of its agreement to resolve the ongoing strike action it embarked upon months ago. Details waiting.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities, in a statement titled Re 163 billion naira released to Academic Staff Union of Universities, putting the record straight, and signed by the Ibadan Zonal Coordinator of the Union, Dr. Ade Adejumo, said the public has been misinformed about the government's claim. The statement reads in part, "Once again, the attention of our union has been drawn to another piece of misinformation which gives the impression that the Academic Staff Union of Universities collects money from government. They should join forces with the Academic Staff Union of Universities in its struggles to attract requisite funding into our public universities rather than working at cross purposes. Part of the least expected from them is to come out openly to put the record straight each time the government comes out with the deliberate falsehood the money has been released to the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU." The Academic Staff Union of Universities National President, Professor Biodun Ogunyemi, says the government's claim about the release of 163 billion naira is misleading. He says the minister referred to the release of 163 billion naira, but that was not released by the Ministry of Education for revitalization. That fund he alluded to was from TET Fund. TET Fund was there when they carried out the needs assessment in 2012. They allege what we call revitalization fund today is a product of that exercise of 2012. We have always drawn a line of distinction between what TET Fund gives and what we should assess from the needs assessment funds. The funds from needs assessment is to fix specific items of deficiency in our system. Both federal and state governments have now relinquished their responsibilities to TET Fund. They now hold on to it. Meanwhile, the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, says the strike may end next week. Living TV News.
And still to come, the Code of Conduct Tribunal adjourns hearing on embattled Chief Justice of Nigeria. This is this and more after this time out.
Living TV, bringing the world first to you.
You're welcome back. You're still tuned to Living TV News. Now the rest of our news bulletin. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) has accused the opposition All Progressives Congress (APC) of bribing senators ahead of the 2019 general elections coming up next month.
The People's Democratic Party (PDP) has also alleged that funds have been embezzled from the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) for same purpose. The Senate reportedly announced that it will meet again on Tuesday, January 29, 2019, to discuss the suspension of the Chief Justice of Nigeria (CJN), Justice Walter Onohan. Spokesman of the People's Democratic Party, Kola Olobodiyan, in a report which he gave journalists, alleged that the senators were implored to cause commotion when the issue of Onohan's suspension is announced on the floor of the Senate. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) are aware of certain moves by agents of the Muhammad Buhari presidency to bribe senators of the All Progressive Congress (APC) to protect President Buhari from parliamentary sanctions for constitutional breaches and misconduct. The People's Democratic Party have also been alerted of how the Buhari presidency has been in a state of unrest following national and international outbursts over his constitutional breaches, particularly his attempt to remove the Chief Justice of Nigeria (CJN), Justice Walter Onohan, and impose a pliable Chief Justice of Nigeria to do his bidding. President Buhari is not only aware that the Senate might apprehend him for violating the Constitution and neglecting its duties regarding handling the case related to a Chief Justice of Nigeria, the Parliament might also open an inquest on how the President allegedly procured an order from the Code of Conduct Tribunal (CCT), upon which he announced the illegal suspension of the Chief Justice of Nigeria. There are reports that the order is subject to investigations not issued in the open court, following which a distressed Buhari presidency now seeks to corrupt the Senate. The People's Democratic Party has also been alerted of how money has been moved from the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) to bribe the All Progressive Congress senators. However, the People's Democratic Party wants the All Progressive Congress senators to note that the issue at hand is not partisan. It is not even about Justice Walter Onohen, but about the nation, securing our democracy and constitution. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, while speaking to reporters, says the president acted legally and right and bashed those criticizing the president as hypocritic and clueless. In a similar vein, the Embassy of the United States has expressed utter concern over the suspension of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onohen, who was accused of failing to declare his asset. The U.S. Embassy issued a statement saying the Embassy of the United States, deeply concerned by the impact of the executive branch's decision to suspend and replace the Chief Justice and head of the judicial branch without the support of the legislative branch on the eve of national and state elections. We note widespread Nigerian criticism that this decision was unconstitutional and that it undermines the independence of the judicial branch, that undercuts the determination of the government, candidates and political party leaders to ensure that the elections proceed in a way that it is free, fair, transparent and peaceful, leading to a credible result.
In a related vein, the Code of Conduct Tribunal sitting in Abuja has adjourned for the proceedings on the non-access declaration on the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onohen, by the federal government. Details from our studios.
According to the Danladi Umar-led tribunal, its decision for suspension of the trial was based on the order of Court of Appeal in Abuja. The court says in view of appeal court order for stay of proceedings and out of respect for the court, the tribunal hereby adjourned the matter sender indefinitely pending the determination of the appeal before the Court of Appeal. However, only the CCT chairman and the third member of the panel, Mrs. Julia Amabo, attended the sitting, while second member of the panel, Mr. William Agwaza Ateza, was absent. It is to be recalled that Mr. Ateza had openly disagreed with tribunal's chairman over the procedure adopted in trial of the suspended CJN. While the chairman Omar relied on Section 306 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2016 to reject a motion, Justice Onohen filed for the tribunal to suspend his trial and await the outcome of his appeal. On the other hand, Mr. Ateza relied on Section 287 of the 1999 Constitution as amended to insist that the CCT panel ought to have respected 4 different interim injunctions that restrained all the parties, including the tribunal, from taking their steps in the matter. Meanwhile, security operatives on Monday sealed off Onohen's chambers at the Supreme Court, even as his administrative staffs were banned from having access into any of the offices. Living TV News.
And from Zamfara, the state chapter of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, has endorsed the All Progressive Congress President Muhammadu Buhari for the February 16th presidential election in the country.
The governorship candidate of All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA, in Zamfara State, Alhaji Abdullahi Sani, disclosed this during the party's flag-off campaign rally in Gusau on Saturday. In his opinion, the party was content with President Buhari's anti-corruption fight, solving security challenges, employment opportunity creation, and agricultural policy. He says these policies tallied with the party's action plans to transform the nation's socio-economic condition. Sani also says his government would pay attention to healthcare and industrialization in the state. He promised to erect 147 maternity centers across the 14 local government areas of the state and 3 VVF centers in each senatorial district. According to him, small-scale industries will be set up in each local government area to achieve full utilization of resources and to enhance job opportunities. Meanwhile, the national chairman of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA, Dr. Victor Ikechukwu, who was represented by the national treasurer, Alhaji Ibrahim Keafo, applauded the orderly behavior of the party. He urged the people to vote wisely to ensure the state elects desirable leaders that will take it out of current political predicaments.
Over now to our sports correspondent Emeka Afonne for more on sports.
Good evening, this is Living TV Sports. My name is Emeka Afonne. After an emergency meeting of the Nigerian Football Federation on 26th of January this year, the Executive Committee suspended the conduct of elections into the football associations of 36 states and the FCT. They explained that the forthcoming nationwide elections between February and March 2019 and the numerous complaints they've received gave rise to this suspension. The committee then charged the NFF Football Reform Committee to see the electoral reforms as part of the assignment, as the tenure of these reforms members have been extended till 17th of April 2019 and will therefore await their reports before giving further directives towards the elections. The committee then mandated all the 36 FAs and the FCT to convene on an extraordinary congress to pick a new date between 26th of May and 30th of June as a terminal date for its electoral process and an elective date as well, and should be presided over by the current board. Thus, NFF will convene an extraordinary general assembly on the 30th of March 2019 to ratify the above resolution to enable the electoral process in the 33 states and FCT to commence. In the Nigerian Premier Football League results, we had 2 away wins, 4 home wins, and 4 draws, respectively. In the game between Wiki Tourists and Sunshine Stars, Wiki Tourists lost at home by 1-0 to Sunshine Stars, and Kada City as well lost at home by 1-0 to FC Fayoba. In the 4 wins that was recorded, Rangers won 1-0 at home against Enyimba, Lobby Stars won 3-0 at home against Kwara United, Remo Stars won 2-0 at home against Castana United, and Yobe Desert as well won 1-0 at home against Heartland FC. Whereby there were as well 4 draws also. Rivers United versus MFM was goalless, 0-0. United Tornadoes against Insurance was 0-0. Plateau United against Kano Pillars was 0-0, and Abia Warriors against Gombe United was 0-0 as well. Mr. Femi Okebukola, in Nigerian Premier League referee, that handled the Week 4 match between Academy Warriors and Nassau United on Thursday, is dead. Mr. Femi died in a ghastly motor accident on his way back from Maiduguri. We pray his soul rest in peace and may God console his family and friends. In the Nigerian Women Premier League, there were a series of awards that were given out to the best performance in the different categories. In the player of the season, Amam Imo of Nasarawa Amazons came out as the best player of the season. Referee of the season went to Atman Mfom Friday of Akwa Ibom State. Club administrator of the season, Matilda Otweme of Rivers Angels. Goalkeeper of the season went to Chiamaka Naduzi of Rivers Angels. Defender of the season went to Miriam Ibrahim of Nasarawa Amazons. The best midfielder of the season went to Evelyn Wabuku of Rivers Angels. The young player of the season went to Jerry Joy of Bayosa Queen, while the media officer of the season went to Olayinka Olawole of Oshun Babes, and finally the coach of the season went to Moses Aduku of Bayosa Queen. In the Nigerian Women Premier League last weekend, there was the Super 4 third place playoff. Rivers Angels lost 0-1 at home to Sunshine Stars. An own goal from Amechi Ojini in the 6th minute of the encounter helped Sunshine Queens to clinch the bronze medal. The winners went home with 3 million naira and they were Bayosa Queens. Second place winners were Nasarawa Amazons and they went home with 2 million naira, and the Sunshine Queens went home with 1 million naira as a bronze medal. Now in the FA Cup that was played last weekend at England, we had games between Crystal Palace and Tottenham, and the game between Chelsea and Sheffield Wednesday. In the game between Crystal Palace and Tottenham, Crystal Palace compounded a miserable week for Tottenham by knocking them out of the FA Cup with a 2-0 4th-round victory at Selhurst Park. Conor Wickham scored an early goal in the 9th minute to set Palace on their way with his 4th goal in 799 days. They continue to pile pressure, and further the damage as Andros Townsend scored in the 34th minute to haunt his former club as he doubled the lead. This victory, however, have helped Crystal Palace to secure their place in the 5th round of the FA Cup, and in the midweek in the Premier League, Crystal Palace will have to face Southampton in an away game, while Tottenham will play at home against Watford. In the last weekend FA Cup victory, Chelsea cruised past Sheffield Wednesday as they beat the Championship side by 3-0. Sheffield had a penalty adjudged by the VAR in the first half, as Etienne Ampadu was adjudged to have won the ball ahead of Joe Helpelsi in the 23rd minute, before Chelsea scored from the penalty of their own. Moments later, with a fine and well-taken finish from William, Chelsea did well to double the lead, as their teenage sensation Hudson-Odoi did well to score in the game, as well as William that came up again to score the final game of the day, while the new Chelsea loanee Gonzalo Higuain came in and played in the game, but he never got a goal as well. Chelsea will play Bournemouth on Wednesday night in the Premier League as they seek to contest in the first 4 position, following some not too good results in their previous Premier League games. Now in League One, we had games between Montpellier and Caen, which Montpellier won 2-0. Amiens lost 0-1 at home to Lyon. Toulouse and Angers played 0-0 draw. PSG won 4-1 at home against Rennes. On Saturday, Dijon won 2-0 against Monaco. Monaco, as we all know, has got issues ever since the start of the season, and they sacked their former coach Thierry Henry and replaced him with Jordan Ladim. And despite that, we are yet to see if there's going to be a resurgence. In the other game between Grenoble and Reims, Reims won 1-0 away against Grenoble. Nice that got Mario Balotelli on the free transfer. Scored 1-2-0 against Nimes, and Strasbourg won 1-0 against Bordeaux. In the League One game as well, we had PSG coach Thomas Tuchel saying that the club will know the extent of Neymar's injury. The Brazil forward limped out of the game during PSG's 2-0 win against Strasbourg on Wednesday, and this comes ahead of a Champions League tie against Manchester United in not less than 3 weeks from today. Monaco have beat Newcastle to the signing of Glenn Martins on loan from Atletico Madrid. This move still saw Monaco still lose 2-0. In the La Liga section, Gareth Bale marked his return from injury with a goal as Real Madrid continued their impressive turnaround in results as they beat Espanyol 4-2 away from home. Benzema opened the scoring in the 4th minute on the rebound as he beat former goalkeeper Diego Lopez. Captain Sergio Ramos headed home a cross from Modric in the 15th minute. Espanyol pulled 2 back, but it wasn't enough to save them as the La Liga Giants put 4 across them to bag the deserved 3 points as they continued their resurgence. Atletico Bilbao game came up and they won 1-0 against Real Betis as they continued to bring up a face and come up in the league as well. In the match between Celta Vigo and Valladolid, new signing Wesley Holt was sent off in his debut as Valladolid moved 5 points clear of the relegation zone as they came from behind to secure a 2-1 win. At the new campus, Barcelona won 2-0 away against Girona as Lionel Messi scored his 6th goal consecutively in 6 La Liga games, and the second goal was scored by Nelson Semedo, the right fullback, though he scored from his weak foot. In the Serie A, we had games against Sassuolo. Sassuolo won 3-0 against Cagliari. Sampdoria won 4-0 against Udinese. AC Milan drew 0-0 with Napoli. On Sunday, Chievo lost 3-4 at home to Fiorentina. Atalanta and Roma scored. They played at a 3-3 draw. Bologna lost 4-0 at home to Fiorentina. Parma lost 2-3 at home to Spal. Torino won 1-0 against Inter Milan, and Lazio lost 2-1 against Juventus. And its 8-minute penalty from Juventus dampened the spirit of the Lazio fans as they thought the game would have ended in their favor, or at least a draw. Now in the transfer section, we have Kalkom Hudson-Odoi, who during the press conference after scoring his goal against Chelsea in the FA Cup said that he does not know if he would remain in the Chelsea team by next season. This was in the spirit of the fact that Bayern Munich have been on the neck of Chelsea as they seek to secure that €5 million signing of the young English footballer. Manchester City have been in the market to find a replacement for the aging Fernandinho, and they've been told they must pay £35 million if they want to sign Sebastian Rudy from Schalke 04. The English club Notts County have been put up for sale by the owner, Alan Hardy. This news comes after he apologized for uploading an intimate part of his body to his Twitter account, and he insisted that the reason why he wants to sell the club was not because of the club's position, but because he wants to have time to face other businesses he's got. PSG as well have visited the table the 2.15 million to 21.5 million pounds for Everton midfielder Idrissa Gueye, but the Everton side has said that the 29-year-old is not for sale, as the Senegalese have been an instrumental part of the team since joining from Aston Villa since 2 years back for £7 million. Middlesbrough captain Grant Leadbitter is said to have had his medicals at Sunderland ahead of agreeing to join his boyhood club on a permanent transfer. Crystal Palace have signed 30-year-old Malian international Bakary Sako from West Brom on a short-term contract until the end of the season. Sunderland's Cedric Soares completed his loan move to Inter Milan yesterday. The deal for the right back includes an option to make the deal permanent in the summer. Over then at Italy, Ivan Perisic saw Arsenal's loan move rejected by the club, and immediately I feel he was so aggrieved as he handed a transfer request to the club. The club accepted and acknowledged the fact that they saw the transfer request, but insisted that they would sell at the right price and at the price that comes with his value. Over there in France, Josh Maza completed his move to French League One side Bordeaux from Sunderland on a 4.5-year deal. The 20-year-old striker turned down a contract at Sunderland earlier last month, despite coming from the club's ranks and the academies. Also in Italy, Diego Godin of Atletico Madrid has passed a medical and he would join Inter Milan on a free transfer when his contract ends with Atletico Madrid. Juventus midfielder Mehdi Benatia is nearing a move to Qatar in a £7 million deal. Jordan Lukaku, the younger brother of Romelu Lukaku of Manchester United, have today signed to join Newcastle United on a loan to the rest of the season. Finally, in the tennis, the world number one Novak Djokovic sealed a third successive Grand Slam success in devastating form as he beat Roger Federer 6-3, 6-2, and 6-3 to overtake Federer and Roy Emerson to hold the outright men's record for titles at Melbourne Park. Djokovic, who has now won 3 majors in succession on three spot occasions in his career, moved within 5 of Federer's tally of 20 titles and is ready to work hard to overtake the Swiss next year. Thank you. This is Living TV Sports. Back to Osioma. My name is Emeka Fonne.
Thank you, Emeka, for that sports update. Before we leave our studios, a recap of our major stories this evening. Newly appointed Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN Justice Tanko Mohammed appoints 250 members of Election Tribunal, out of which 10 are dead and retired judges. We told you that as the trials of the embattled Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onnoghen, continues, the Court of Appeal has asked the Code of Conduct Tribunal, CCTA, to stay proceedings till further notice. And lastly, in an news bulletin report that the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has accredited 144 foreign and domestic observer groups for the 2019 general elections. And that's our package on all those who made the alternate possible. One, the men behind the cameras, and of course those behind the console. My name is Osioma Smart, wishing you a splendid evening. Good night.